Most men assume rejection happens because they are not attractive enough or because they said the wrong words. In reality, rejection often begins long before a man ever asks for intimacy. It starts when he creates pressure instead of connection. Many women are not pushing a man away because they dislike him. They are responding to how the situation makes them feel. When the interaction feels rushed, uncomfortable, or emotionally disconnected, the answer is usually no. But when the experience feels relaxed, natural, and emotionally safe, attraction has room to grow. Here's something many people never realize. Women rarely reject intimacy itself. They reject the emotions surrounding it. If the moment feels awkward or forced, they instinctively pull back. If it feels genuine, respectful, and emotionally engaging, they naturally become more open. That single shift in understanding changes everything. Throughout this video, you'll discover the psychological principles that influence emotional attraction without relying on manipulation or pressure. These ideas are not about controlling someone else's decisions. They are about recognizing how trust, comfort, and emotional connection shape attraction. When you understand how emotions guide decisions, you stop trying to force outcomes and begin creating moments that feel authentic. And that simple change often produces a completely different response. Before we dive into the techniques, it's important to understand one key difference between how many men and women experience attraction. For many men, attraction can happen almost instantly based on appearance. For many women, attraction usually develops in layers. It grows through conversations, shared experiences, consistency, emotional comfort, and anticipation. That explains why someone who felt ordinary on the first meeting can become deeply attractive after spending meaningful time together. Once you understand this, you stop focusing on rushing the process. Instead, you allow attraction to build naturally, creating an environment where emotional connection has the opportunity to develop on its own. That foundation is where everything else begins. Now that you understand how attraction develops, let's move into the first principle that quietly changes the entire dynamic. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is believing they must ask directly for intimacy. While being honest is important, the way something is communicated often matters just as much as the words themselves. A direct request can unintentionally create pressure, and pressure often causes hesitation. A better approach is to create an emotional invitation rather than a demand. Instead of making someone feel like they must immediately make a decision, you allow the connection to unfold naturally. When a woman feels that she has complete freedom to choose without being rushed or judged, she is far more likely to stay emotionally engaged. Think about any situation where someone aggressively tried to convince you to do something. Even if you were interested at first, constant pressure probably made you hesitate. Human beings naturally resist feeling pushed. Emotional attraction works in much the same way. The more relaxed and genuine the interaction becomes, the easier it is for both people to enjoy the moment. This leads to 3 emotional foundations that influence comfort during any romantic interaction: safety, trust, and anticipation. Safety means she feels respected and knows her boundaries will be honored. Trust develops when your actions consistently match your words. If you say there is no rush, your behavior should reflect that. Anticipation is the quiet excitement that grows when there is emotional chemistry without forcing the next step. Many men spend all of their energy trying to appear confident, funny, or impressive, while overlooking these 3 emotional pillars. Yet those qualities alone are rarely enough if genuine comfort has not been established. When safety, trust, and anticipation come together, emotional connection becomes much stronger, allowing attraction to develop naturally instead of feeling manufactured. The next principle is surprisingly simple, yet very few people understand why it works. Instead of constantly moving the interaction forward, sometimes the strongest thing you can do is give the conversation room to breathe. When every moment feels like it's leading toward one outcome, the other person may begin to feel pressure. But when you appear comfortable simply enjoying each other's company, the emotional atmosphere changes completely. Imagine you're sitting together, laughing, talking, and sharing genuine chemistry. Many men believe this is the moment they should immediately escalate. They move closer, become more physical, or rush to create a romantic moment. Sometimes that works, but often it interrupts the natural flow. The sudden change can make the interaction feel forced instead of spontaneous. Instead, allow yourself to slow down, stay relaxed, pause naturally in the conversation. Let silence exist without trying to fill every second. Continue enjoying the moment without acting as though you're chasing the next step. This communicates confidence because you're showing that you're comfortable whether intimacy happens now, later, or not at all. That relaxed attitude often changes the emotional dynamic. Without pressure, she has the freedom to notice her own feelings. Rather than responding to your expectations, she begins responding to the connection itself. Curiosity starts replacing hesitation, and emotional investment has room to grow. Another powerful psychological principle is learning to express observations instead of requests. Rather than asking for intimacy, acknowledge the connection you're already experiencing. You might say something like, "I really enjoy talking with you," or "There's something very comfortable about spending time together." Statements like these don't demand anything in return. They simply recognize the positive energy already present. This works because people naturally respond to emotions more than instructions. When you calmly describe the atmosphere instead of trying to direct it, you're encouraging both of you to become more aware of the connection. Often that shared awareness deepens attraction without either person feeling pressured. Genuine intimacy develops best when both people feel free to move at a pace that feels right for them. The next idea may be the most misunderstood part of attraction. Many men believe confidence means constantly taking control, speaking boldly, or pushing the interaction forward. In reality, genuine confidence often looks much calmer. It is the ability to remain relaxed, emotionally steady, and fully present without becoming anxious about what happens next. When a man is constantly seeking reassurance, asking whether everything is okay, or worrying about getting the right response, that nervous energy becomes noticeable. People naturally pick up on emotional tension. On the other hand, someone who is comfortable with the moment, regardless of the outcome, creates an atmosphere that feels far more inviting. This calm presence allows a woman to relax as well. She doesn't feel that she must protect herself from expectations or manage someone else's emotions. Instead, she can simply enjoy the interaction. Emotional comfort creates space for openness, vulnerability, and authentic connection. Another mistake many men make is asking for a decision when they should be exploring a feeling. Instead of placing someone in a position where they must immediately accept or reject an invitation, shift the conversation toward understanding how the moment feels. Questions like, "Are you comfortable?" or "Does this pace feel right for you?" encourage honesty without creating pressure. Notice the difference. You're no longer asking for permission to achieve a specific outcome. You're showing genuine interest in her emotional experience. That small adjustment communicates respect and emotional maturity. If she says she'd rather slow things down, you haven't failed. You've simply gained valuable information. Responding with patience instead of disappointment demonstrates confidence and emotional security. Ironically, respecting her comfort often strengthens trust far more than trying to persuade her otherwise. When someone feels heard rather than pressured, the emotional connection becomes deeper, making future moments together feel much more natural and genuine. As the connection becomes stronger, another principle begins to matter even more. Attraction is rarely determined by how intensely one person expresses interest. Instead, it often grows when both people naturally match each other's level of comfort and enthusiasm. Emotional balance creates a sense of harmony that feels effortless instead of overwhelming. Pay close attention to how she communicates. If she leans in during conversation, maintains eye contact, laughs freely, or casually initiates light physical contact, these are signs that she feels comfortable. Rather than dramatically increasing your own intensity, simply respond with similar energy. Matching her pace allows the interaction to remain balanced and natural. This behavior is rooted in a well-known psychological principle called mirroring. From childhood, people learn to build trust by reflecting one another's expressions, tone, and body language. When someone mirrors us appropriately, we often feel understood without consciously realizing why. That feeling of being understood strengthens emotional closeness. The mistake many men make is reacting too strongly when they notice signs of interest. Some suddenly become overly affectionate or move too quickly, while others become distant because they fear making a mistake. Both extremes interrupt the natural rhythm of the interaction. The healthiest approach is simple. If she smiles warmly, smile back. If she speaks openly, respond with the same level of openness. If she comfortably shortens the physical distance between you, allow your body language to remain equally relaxed. This creates a balanced exchange where neither person feels like they are chasing or retreating. When two people naturally reflect each other's comfort level, emotional connection grows almost effortlessly. The interaction begins to feel less like two individuals trying to impress one another and more like two people genuinely enjoying the same experience. That shared emotional rhythm is often what transforms casual attraction into something much deeper. As you reach the later stages of building attraction, one final adjustment can make a significant difference. Instead of concentrating on reaching a particular outcome, place your attention on the quality of the experience you're sharing together. People naturally remember how they felt during a moment far more than the exact words that were spoken. Rather than trying to steer every interaction toward intimacy, acknowledge the connection that already exists. Simple observations such as, "I'm really enjoying this conversation," or "It feels surprisingly easy to spend time with you." Focus attention on the present instead of creating expectations about what should happen next. This approach works because it removes unnecessary pressure. You're not asking for anything or encouraging an immediate decision. You're simply recognizing a positive experience that both of you are already sharing. That allows the emotional atmosphere to remain relaxed, making genuine closeness much easier to develop. There's another important reason this matters. When people focus on the present moment, they stop overthinking future outcomes. Instead of wondering what comes next or worrying about making the wrong choice, they become more engaged with what's happening right now. Emotional presence naturally strengthens connection. Confidence also plays a quiet but powerful role here. True confidence doesn't constantly seek reassurance or approval. It communicates, "I'm enjoying getting to know you, and I'm comfortable letting this unfold naturally." That mindset removes urgency and replaces it with authenticity. Ironically, when someone no longer feels that they're being guided toward a predetermined destination, they become much more open to exploring where the connection may lead. Real attraction grows through shared comfort, mutual respect, emotional safety, and patience. Those qualities consistently create stronger and more meaningful relationships than pressure or persistence ever could. Everything we've discussed leads to one important conclusion. Lasting attraction is not created through clever lines, pressure, or trying to convince someone to say yes. It develops when two people genuinely enjoy each other's company, communicate openly, and allow trust to grow over time. When you stop chasing outcomes and begin focusing on building a real emotional connection, your entire approach changes. Remember the key ideas we've covered. Attraction often grows through emotional comfort rather than urgency. Safety, consistency, and respect create the environment where trust can develop. Staying calm instead of anxious, listening instead of assuming, and matching the other person's level of interest all help create a balanced interaction that feels natural instead of forced. It's also important to understand that every person is different. There is no universal formula that guarantees a particular response, and there shouldn't be. Healthy relationships are built on mutual interest, honest communication, and shared willingness. The strongest connections happen when both people freely choose to move forward together at a pace that feels comfortable for each of them. If someone isn't ready, respect that without taking it personally. Patience and emotional maturity are far more attractive than persistence or pressure. Showing genuine confidence means accepting another person's feelings while remaining secure in yourself. As you continue meeting new people, focus less on trying to impress and more on creating conversations that are enjoyable, meaningful, and authentic. When people feel seen, respected, and emotionally comfortable, connection has the opportunity to develop naturally. If you found these insights valuable and learned something useful today, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content exploring psychology, relationships, communication, and human behavior. Also, check out the next video on the channel, where we'll continue uncovering practical psychological insights that can help you build stronger, healthier, and more confident relationships.